Yeah, it's ready. Rolling.
Alright, man, shalom. Shalom. Start by saying, "Oh, praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahshua, Hashem, Barakadash. Number one is the apostles and elders and rainbows on the world. Shalom to the whole full elect. Right, we Hebrews, relax, come in, and we inside the downfall of the kingdom, according to the Holy Bible, frank word of the Heavenly Father. Alright, to basically go into everything that's currently happening on earth and show you how these things are really inside of the Bible and presently happening due to the prophetic word we know that book. Right? So right now being in the midst of everything that we're in the midst of, you have a lot going on the earth. Right now you got over there in France, they're going crazy right now. Right?
They yo, raising.
Where's this?
Because there's more saying.
Paris, well, yeah, Paris, I thought so. Because I heard Marseille. I wasn't sure if Paris and Marseille.
Yeah.
Yep. No. That's one of the questions going on. You know.
Second Esdras 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure down the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, uproars of the people, and that's what we're seeing in France. That's something that's really good to feel every few months. We kind of get in different regions. And the one in France has been a big mess. Them guys are running rampant. France is notorious for them guys running rampant anyway. Before you had the pandemic lockdown, them guys were on like a year-plus streak of the yellow vest going out like every Saturday and running rampant. Them guys, whenever anything happens in France, they don't like them guys go wild. There's other places in Europe where they'll rebel to a certain extent, but the French, that's really their spirit. It's funny because the whole French Revolution, that kind of spirit is core to their identity in the current time. But again, we're seeing it. What's it a sign of? Times at the end. And that's the thing that people don't really realize. A lot of these events, it's not just one thing, one isolated incident. These things are all part of the theme. Because it's basically what you have a prophecy. Tied into that prophecy is certain things going down. And those riots, that's a big part of it. So I'll read it again. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Yeah, those things have been spoken of for the longest. Those things have been spoken of from way back in the day. But it's funny because it's happened time and again, but then there's prophecies that are basically about what that final Babylon, the war of Babylon, that final kingdom will come at the end. Because when you go into Daniel 2, Daniel 7, you'll get the statue, you'll get the beast, the kingdom of heaven will be set up. And it's still within the bounds of that prophecy. We're in the toes. The iron and miry clay, the feet and 10 toes. So that's why it's like, just because prophecies being biblical prophecy, people think like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. That's all old. They're like, well, yeah, when Jesus came, it was just like it It was just love thy neighbor and blah blah. They don't know the what is it? The testimony of Yahweh Shai is what? The spirit of prophecy. Prophecy is part of being called to following in the stead of Yahweh Shai. So what does it say? So verse 4, 2nd Edges 9 and 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. That's what we're seeing, the end being manifest. And this is the same thing that's happened time and again. There's been various kingdoms. Yeah, the end being manifest. With all the prior kingdoms that came, they had a beginning, they had an end. You can go to history books. When you look up the Babylonian Empire, when you look up the Medo-Persian Empire, you look up the Greek, you'll be like, okay, this is when the Persians got taken down and the Greeks rose up. And then this is when the Greeks fell, and then the Romans rose up. And you'll have these different kingdoms, these different rulerships basically taking place. Those are all things of prophesied. Now, like we said, we're still in prophecy. We're at the tail end. The final kingdom before the kingdom of heaven, where it's meeting its end. And that's why we're lining up what? Prophecy. That's why we're talking about Christ. I got an article talking about, I can go into it. You got something? So it's on the Times. It says, riots reveal deep disillusion in France. Violence that spread to every region plays into the hands of the pen right. It says the burnt cars had been removed earlier that day, and E. Leclerc supermarket had reopened. But in Dreux, west of Paris, the bewilderment and anger left by last week's riots remained palpable. Where did we go wrong, said Alexandra, 40, who was born in France to a black father and white mother, and who is married to a Moroccan. How did these young people end up hating their own country?
I don't know what relevance that has.
Yeah, I was like, bro, all I hear about France is how fucking racist it is, bro. Everyone I talk, they say, yeah, French are racist as fuck. It's no surprise. I was like, should be surprised. That's not even new. Riots ain't even new in France.
Alexander said it, so we should all,
Yeah. So what went wrong?
Yeah, nothing's wrong.
Like, bro,
she's not a credible source.
Yeah.
She isn't someone that's determined to judge, way matters in the hand. We're talking about a riot kicked off because why? Because, what was it, unarmed black child?
Yeah, it's going to go into it.
Yeah.
There was unrest that began after a traffic police officer shot dead Nahel Mazouk, 17, a boy from the Paris suburbs, spread across the country to reach unusually tranquil regions such as Normandy, the Alps, and the Southwest. In a week, 12,031 cars were set on fire and 2,508 buildings attacked, including 436 shops, 370 banks, 273 police stations, 168 schools, and 105 town halls. In all, 3,505 people were arrested. The youngest age 11, the oldest 59, the average age 17. So it's the youth. It's sounding like what happened with the 2011 over here in the UK. That them riots was the same thing. Someone got shot, then people started going wild, they kept going wild, and it spread from like the source to where it was all different regions of
North.
Yeah. Of the country were basically alike. It says in post-war France, there have been 3 significant race riots. The first during Algeria's war to gain independence from France, and the others involving immigrants from former French colonies. The latest episode seems to have left the country more divided than ever, with a growing number of voters ready to support Marine Le Pen in an attempt to restore order.
She's a far right. I forgot the name of the party.
I think it was like National something.
National, yeah, something national.
But like, it seemed like kind of like a National Front kind of
National party.
Says it's since taken over as the leader of the party in 2011 from her father, Jean-Marie Le Pen, who was convicted of inciting racial hatred. She has sought to take the national rally towards towards a political center to appeal to more mainstream voters. She blames what she calls uncontrolled migration for the violence and wants a crackdown on offenders by using custodial sentences.
What's that got to do with the traffic stop?
It got laid down and got shut down. But that's, well, it's unrest. It's an opportunity. It's always an opportunity. And that's really what. Don't waste a crisis. Because with it, it's basically such. People are going to be like, oh, they're going to be like, oh my God, what do we do? Then anything you suggest, they'll lack up. The same thing happened with the pandemic. People were open to anything. Man said you're not allowed to leave your house or you get fined. People are like, yeah, safe, that's good. They were cheering. Man said they're walking the dog, you get fined £300. Like, what the fuck is that? So that says what? Dreux is known as for its royal domain and is home to the tomb of Louis Philippe, the last king of France, who reigned from 1830 to 1848. This week, lorries were set ablaze on the ring road, cars burnt near the medieval fortress, and in a council estate built at the beginning of the 1970s, there was chaos. Dozens of youths smashed through the metal front of the supermarket before looting it, taking everything from consoles to sweets. They also dumped a pile of clothes in the middle of an aisle, doused them with petrol, and set them alight. That sounds exactly like 2011.
Right, so the same, right?
In the same small shopping center, the opticians was devastated. The bank window smashed and the bus stop shattered. So that sounds like prophecy to me. Yeah, like I said, that sounds like prophecy being fulfilled to me. Because again, it's people are, you know, you had Alexander like, why is this happening? It's Reddit. So 2nd Ezra 9, I'll start from 5. So it says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works and endings in effects and signs. And yeah, we're seeing those effects and signs taking place now. Because basically you move to the point where we're seeing everything being fulfilled. When it goes to one of the main prophecies, the Quran, we're seeing that being fulfilled right now. There's various different companies basically pushing forward that technology. It's being marketed to the people as you know, the next step and the next way forward with humanity, man. Merge your mind with computers and let AI, you know, take AI up in your brain. That's the allure. That's the bait that's being used to draw people into it. And really, it's about what? Those are old sway, the elites, basically maintaining power. Those particular families basically being able to have everyone else be subservient. Because, hey, just that, it's a thing where it's being sold like it's going to work for everyone. And looking back, there's various times in history where the same thing's been done. It's like, oh, it's for your own good. But then lo and behold, years later, these things come out, and that's what you're. That's the funniest part. Looking at the track record, Esau Edom, the so-called white man. How has he enacted? How has he acted? You know, what has he done? Then when you deal with a track record, it's you know, crime after crime. Then you say, oh no, he's got better now. But then what? When there's whistleblowers coming out with all kinds of secrets. You go, sir.
Nahum 3:1, woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departed from. Yeah, the bloody city starts from America, which is known as Babylon the Great, right? According to the prophecy of the great Messiah of the Bible, right? And it's also known as the bloody city. Why? Because the establishment of America is done on the foundation of blood, right? The blood of the so-called Native Americans, which is the tribe of Gad, as well as the other tribes as well, around Ruben, as well as Issachar having some part to play in California and Texas. But then basically, then after that was said and done, once you drenched in blood up to your knees, went over to the west coast of Africa and basically took Judah, Benjamin, and Levi and brought them over to America and grind their bones to make your meal as well now, right? And now, that is a lot of debt upon yourself, whereby the Heavenly Father is saying, is letting it be known by saying, woe, destruction unto the bloody city. Alright? So it says the noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and the parts of horses and jumping chariots. The horseman lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses. That's probably what's going to happen when the Heavenly Father, being the man that's going to ultimately lift up his hand and throw his weapon, right, a bow of steel, that glistening sword, being what? An ICBM, right? And when that gets started, when that actually happens, that's when there's going to be that multitude of state, right, of stumbling over all of those bodies. So it says, verse 4, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that setteth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. Yeah, and that's like the most current witchcraft that we've seen is like Pride, the month of Pride. Because even Pride is totally, against the Heavenly Father, right? Because it says pride God before a fool. So basically, understanding that pride being a fool, all right, and be something that's going to actually come to, seal your fate, being a tragic fate, all right? This is something that's been perpetuated in the society, right? Only the Heavenly Father is going to see to it that it gets, the judgment gets seen meted out, all right? But as well as many other whoredoms that feminism, homosexuality, all right, which leads into LGBTQ
And the black identity. That's a whole net of confusion for Jake. That's
black
basically
and brown,
yeah. You look at POCs, people of color, where you're just kind of lumping in every non-Esau nation. And then, anyone can tell me. Like, you can go to these guys from Atlanta, like a good example would be Gandhi, man. He didn't like no blacks. Like, there's that whole illusion of like, if you're black or you're brown or whatever, then automatically you're an ally. That don't make no sense. But then what? These things now are they're being promoted because it's basically about the that same one world agenda. reading. In Matthew. You go more than right, so verse 5, behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. Right, so the Heavenly Father always said he's going to shut up his skirts just like that. They get comes from concentrating, because a lot of people are not well informed enough to know that what they're buying is going to do them a lot of good compared to the other stuff that they tend to buy. That's the point. So Esau will basically, he's going to present the truth, but he's going to present it in such a way where you can discard it and say, it isn't profitable to me in this current moment. Alright? But if you're actually well in tune with what is good for you and what's bad for you, then you're going to go with it, regardless. You know how far, that's what this man does. He definitely, right? Read up. And I will cast under the filth upon thee and make thee vile and will set thee as an alien stuff. So the Heavenly Father said he's going to cast dumb, deaf, and blind, right? To basically take in what's being shown to them, right? And Esau letting it be known, although it's for the good of those that it's good for, right? For the other people, what they usually do, same way they dealt with the Lord. They said, they'll be told something like, that's not useless. The main meaning is that that's how these people feel about it. They feel like, yeah, that's nice to hear, but it does me no good. Like, how am I going to describe that? That don't mean shit. Looks like, read the last part. It says, verse 7, and it shall come to pass that they that look upon thee shall flee from thee because they wait. You will behold her when shall I sit comfortably before thee. Yeah, no one's going to be home. Right now, everyone benefits. Everyone, you're having a nice thing. But as time goes on, process of time and exposure by the Heavenly Father, it's going to be made known that it's these people over there, you don't want to be tied to them, man. They're hand joined in hand, the wicked shall go unpunished. Right? They're going to get some shit. Some people. I said recourse. I mean, they're going to have to deal with, what they're going to deal with. They're going to have to basically take their punishment. Psalm 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? No, recourse is right. Say, the legal right to demand compensation of payment. Psalm 50 and 16. For unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest state my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction, casting my words behind me. Yeah, with dealing with Esau, that's one of the key things. He's always, from the beginning, been rebellious. When it was instructed not to lay with the Canaanite woman, he was already running through that. When it was basically rebellious, brat from the first, and that same spirit endured fruit every time he came back, man. And his descendants, they all essentially were what? Rebelling against the order. And that's still to this day. What do we have? That same rebellion. Um, okay. So first Maccabees 1 and 41 says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom, all should be one. The all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws, so all the heathen agree according to the commandment of the king. Yeah, it's the same spirit you have going on now with this whole, black, indigenous people of color, the black community. The whole modern philosophy, the new wine they've come with is that basically everyone should just be all molded and blended as one. And it's really not new because it's the same old philosophy coming back. That's why it's what I think Antiochus said the same thing. And he said what verse 42, and everyone should leave his laws, so will the heathen agree according to the commandment of the king. And yeah, you had back then, you had the heathen all clumping together under that Hellenic, as they call it, the Hellenic protest. And it says what? Yea, verse 43, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messenger unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land. Yes, so back then, you had Jake what? Going in, taking on all these funky beliefs and funky sacrifices and wandering after them. It's the same thing you got now. You got Jake behaving funky as hell, getting down with all these funky beliefs. Because why? Now it's basically been sold as empowerment. It's been sold as, oh, going backwards is what, and I'm proud. And it's basically just having the identity of black, which there's no root to that. That's something you can identify that as anything. Because, well, that's the stroke. If you'll see, like Elon, well, they'll have the same skin complexion from Jake. They'll always be black. They'll be like, nah, but you don't, it's like, oh, you don't come from Africa. But then someone will say, like, oh, doesn't everyone come from Africa or some shit? So it's like, there's no root to it. It's confusion. There's no basis. It's basically something you can just kind of plaster whatever you like to it. Which is why it's you go through the years, it's all changed. Going back to the 60s, the black, that has nothing to do with any of the modern conceptions of things, man. Like the way being ignorant, being a lot of shit that came in like through the 80s and 90s that's attached to like black identity. Those things weren't even seen. They weren't even trying to mess with it. When Jake came out of slavery, they were trying to operate like basically just trying to have their own little civilization, man. They were trying to have their shit run like their own shit. But then you have what, like Black Wall Street done out. You really had to, essentially, Esau's is the same thing as Reform, where you had the heathen basically frustrating their hands, man, frustrating their capability to build. And then with the black identity being the root, then Esau can just come and chop and change and mix up whatever. Even Jacob, because well, he said what, they require a son. They require the son of Jacob. So I said what, First Maccabees 1:45, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves with chapels and idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change ordinance. And that's something that was achieved back then. You had Jake, that would have been amongst the Greeks. there were those that would have known they were originally Israelites, and there's those that wouldn't have. They would have just been completely profane.
That's where you get the word Greek element. There was, you know, even like today you get over here in the UK, if you want to deal with like those Caribbean descent, those so-called Caribbean descent, so-called African, so-called South American, they'll come over here with their parents and they're born over there, and they'll go out with the mixes and their parents, you know, culture, or, you know, they come from their parents' country, and then when they're like young, and then they conform to this country. Or you've had your family be here for many generations, 3, 4 generations, so before you know, is a remnant like a part of that original culture, for the most part. Yeah, or basically, you know, they're over here, and then they basically born here. The only culture they know is over here. And that's the difference. It goes either way. So that happened back in the day with the Hellenes and the Hellenistas. There would have been people that would have taken to the Greek culture, and there would have been others that would have taken. Are you Greek? She just turned around. No, yeah. Yeah. But they would take it to the Greek culture and followed after. Whereas you would have others that would only kept to their mother farmers culture. Like Paul, for example, he could have known about the Greek culture because he would have been born. He would have picked up something and made around it. Right? He had it different ways.
So it's in verse 49, to the end, that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, said he should die. Yeah. So that was enforced at knife point, at sword point, at spear point. And that's funny because slavery is the same thing. When Jake wasn't allowed to read the scriptures. And it was only when Esau was throwing in that modern, what's called praise and worship, you know, that Jesus, that one praise and worship Christianity, where then that's what they're giving to the Gabriel. Good Bible talk, you know, makes a good show. Where they had them in the basement, just hollering and screaming and blah blah blah. Because then it was basically like, yeah, you know, this is your worship. Because the heathen know from day. If Israel was following after their power, you can't even deal with it. You can't even come against them. But when there's that discourse between them, that's where the heathen can come in. So, First Thessalonians 1, it says, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." Yeah, this is coming as a thief. That's why. This, as we're going into, you've basically got rights, you've got prophecy being fulfilled. You've got riots happening left, right, and center, earthquakes, wars, rumors of wars. We're in the midst of a conflict that basically everyone's looking at like, is this World War III popping up? The Ukraine and Russia conflict. But really everyone that's paying attention knows it's what? It's Russia, and then it's the US, EU, NATO, and their allies back in Ukraine. Those are the two different fronts, basically, of how this conflict is going to go down according to prophecy. And we're seeing, essentially a proxy war happening at present. But when we did well, you had the US say they were going to send cluster bombs, I believe, to Ukraine with their like next batch of support. And then the UK was saying like, yo, well, originally was saying, you know, the UK ain't gonna send that. The US should think twice about that. Because why? That is essentially within Ukraine, you have like global support, all these different NATO allies, EU countries, essentially sending equipment, sending supplies, sending monies, sending everything to keep them propped up. Because they're essentially being used as a front to fight against Russia. That's why you'll see all global munitions, different forms, all these weapon systems and whatever come from all over the world into Ukraine. But again, people are looking at it, they're just like, yeah, well, you know, Russia essentially wants how, you know, Russia establishment of their nation by selecting certain children, and after that being set in place, they had to go through a voting, where they basically have to go out of their living space, being a mix of weakness, you know, dealing with that type of stuff. Only what might not happen. You have a lot that wouldn't be selected for having the ability to fight for their rights. So that meant that there was a great population going back to what it says. Look, there'll be a rough coat that'll rise up, and now we're only in what the brother mentioned before in the statue, that of the feet mixed with iron and miry clay, right? Being part being strong and part being weak, and that can be shown by what pigs, right? Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain. Those are European nations. UK now as well, all right? Which, you know, ultimately shows you that the effect was come to pass, right? That's the video. Just remember now. eBay sealers, you know, something I would do. Yeah, he said I ain't gonna do whatever the father. You know, when things rolls up the next day, you know, going, you know, wash yourself, you know, clean his body, good, flying through his garments, went out to his parents or whatever, the alarm on, what would happen? You bump into an Israelite that's wicked. Let's say some like foul shit. I would just, you know, stir up his spirit, that pure spirit within him. Where he say, look, my job ain't done. I got things to do. Right? So that's the same way we can't go a day, we're like locked with a filthy conversation. You ain't really enjoying nothing out there. You might be going through your day and doing stuff. They alarm the whole while because you have a conversation with someone. You might fuck them to a certain degree. And they say some shit and you're like, oh, what the fuck? What the fuck you saying that for? Or you might be dealing with them when they pull out fucking big fun. Or just saying that to remind you that it's like, oh, he's like evil, bro. Or they have a conversation like, what you do on the weekend? And they're like, yeah, I went to eat at this place. Take one, and you figure like, so where are these people from? That's the way this world is. Right? The way this world is, it just there's not going on that's not gonna make you feel like, yo, we need to get out of it. I've had enough. Right? It's like Amos, man. Esau's dealing with it, he's gonna deal with it. We feel like our Esau's gonna be where it says, no, they run from the bear and bear, yeah. And then went into a house and the serpent appeared. That's what it's like for us. We're ensnared in wickedness, right? Being that God, there's no way of escaping, you know? Daniel 2, might as well go into the stats. So it says what in 31 it says, Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. The image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet of iron, and his heart of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and become like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the winds carried them away, and no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth.
What the fuck is summer, yeah? You gotta love it, man. Rain, bit of wind, then the fucking blazing sun. Out of nowhere. That saves the day, man. That sounds like a divine storyline, man.
So verse 36, this is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the power of heaven hath given thee.
Right, if my memory serves me correctly, the king basically told the wise men of, the wise men of Babylon, the Chaldeans, alright, you did nothing. Check if it's still right. The wise men, the Chaldees, right, that basically, look, I had a dream and it was a great dream, but what I need you to do is, so I know you have the correct interpretation, tell me what happened in the dream, then tell me the interpretation. Alright? And basically the wise men of Chaldea, obviously the king being who he is, a wise man, right, obviously understood that, look, these are can tell me anything, and I'll go with it. Alright? Not that he'll go with it, they can tell me anything. Right? But really for the validity of the actual understanding of the dream, because it gave him terrors, like bed terrors, right? It was a man. So basically, when you say, like, tell me the interpretation of it, that way I'll know the Heavenly Father's Spirit, or the Spirit, the true interpretation is with you, because you reveal the dream. Alright? Now there was a great, the back and forth, alright? Because a lot of them became undone. Why? Because they were like, we don't know it. And the king's decree was that if you don't know it, I'm going to kill you. So that was pretty, you put them on their toes, basically. And only Daniel was the one that come through to say the thing. Daniel Allah, right? The Most High, the judge of the Most High power. So only his interpretation wound up being the true interpretation.
Verse 37. Thou, O king, art a king of kings. For the power of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of heaven have been given into thine hands. And thou hast made thee ruler over them. Thou art this head of gold. And that was, how essentially, his mind head of gold, he started to overestimate himself, man.
But we gonna be real, because the evil is first of all. But really, when you break it down, it's like this is a dream that's been fucking with the spirit, making him feel like, what the hell is this dream, right? And only he comes to find out the dream is, there's some good to it, so to speak. The good he took and ran with it, being that he's the king of kings. That's gonna blow up your head to a fucking mountain top, man. Right? Out to the heavens. Why? Because basically, Daniel broke down your key now, showing that this is really some high powered shit, right? And that he's being told he's the king of kings. lo and behold, he didn't really understand what that meant through and through. Because ultimately, all these heathen kingdoms that come after him, to some degree, or ultimately, with Esau at least, use his play-by-play, right? Like Babylon the Great is basically like Roman Empire, Babylon.
Oh, so
yeah,
the baseline of what
baseline, yeah. So it's like in that sense. And even ultimately, of the heathen rule, he's ahead of it. It started with the Babylonians.
with that head of gold, it's the splendor as well.
Yeah.
Like the hanging garments of Babylon. That's still spoken about. People don't even know what they look like. But the way they knew the hanging gardens was such a splendor, that's
One of
why
the wonders of the world.
it's still spoken about. And that's something that nowadays you don't even have. Consider like now, what would be a, I don't know, hard meant to be,
Not really, it's like the Eiffel Tower.
or even, or I'm saying like the Shard is kind of
Oh,
the
the
modern
age,
kind of,
yeah.
that's
Oh, the Burj
that's
Khalifa.
for
Burj Khalifa. But
then
those
it's-
kind of things,
yeah.
Dubai, Qatar, and them places, they're the splendid earth right now.
But then even what they're trying to do is basically a pale imitation. Because it's really, it's like, it's glass and metal. It's not even, where's the gold, where's the nature? It's not even the same, quantity. When you deal with the general society, it's like, it's concrete, it's tarmac, it's the rivers, maybe the pure, it's basically, it's corrupt. But then going back, the head of gold still had the splendor back then. Then afterwards, the silver, the brass, there was to less degrees, but more than now. Because against that, we're in the feet and 10 toes, which is what iron and clay. But then with the change in metals, that's where the military might become greater.
More dense, the density of the metal a lot more dense, basically weight.
Yeah, metal. Iron is one of the key metals used for warfare. Different alloys and rock.
But it may even show you the foundation of what iron, clay, and iron. So as you see the gold at the top, as it goes down, it becomes more superior in density and inferior in cost. Splendor, speed, alright? But at its feet, at the foundation of it all, it ain't worth shit because it's clay, basic mud mixed with iron. So I don't have no bearing, I don't have no kind of, umph to it. Whereby only what said.
So it says, that said gold. So verse 39, and after these shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. So like I said, inferior to thee was the ones to follow. Splendor-wise, they didn't have it. Only in the military capability, really, where it's ramping up. And then now we're in the feet and 10 toes. Then it's the military's hit again. Another hit. Technologically, what can they do? They can go up into space. So they can build the Tower of Babel. Now they're trying to build that where, don't even try and do like a fucking space elevator, man. I remember that was a whole thing for a minute. You had the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where you had the elevator, man. The elevators could go up into space. I remember reading about that one, like the second Charlie and the Chocolate Factory book. But these were the thing, essentially, whatever Esau's heart desired to do, that's what he's got. But then he still don't have the splendor. That says that after these, so verse 40, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for so much as iron break in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And that's why, yeah, the Roman army, Roman military techniques, how they were basically able to spread their empire. That's still a big part of what's remembered, man. When dealing with Rome, that the military techniques, the phalanx, the shield wall, that was still used throughout the Dark Ages, man. That basically the war technology was that but that's why that was the main law. That was the main law that Rome had. So it says, verse 41, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it the strength of the iron, for so much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And yeah, that's now you get to the feet and 10 toes, it is divided. That's why you had something like the Brexit vote. That's why you have like NATO, EU, where it's countries coming together, then basically having a seat together, but then they're not ultimately flying
Feeding random shit.
Oh yeah.
I feel it on my legs and then I feel it on my arms.
What it say? So yeah, the kingdom shall be divided, but it shall be in it the strength of the iron, for so much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. Now yeah, there is the strength of iron. That military might is diminished, it's even further increased. It's been given what we've got the glittering sword, man. Those nuclear missiles, nuclear capabilities based on a level of destruction on a whole different scale. That's why you have I'll read this Isaiah 95, for every battle the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So you had the era of war that was done with confused noise, garments rolled in blood, whether men, whether they be in the trenches, whether they be out in the battlefield, whether in armor, there'll be swords, there'll be bows and arrows, catapults, pitch, boiling oil, siege walls, all these different things, different forms of conflict. But now it's to the point where what? You can drop a bomb and then 2 cities can be wiped off the map. And then really when that's dealing with the atom bomb. When we get to the hydrogen bomb, get to nuclear warheads, we're dealing with degrees higher destructive capabilities. Where that shit hits, the city's getting wiped out, man. It's being done. Everyone's getting vaporized. You're scared. Your tongue's getting disintegrated in your mouth. Your eyeballs are sizzling and turning into air, man.
And the Bible says that. The tongue shall be consumed while the eyes, I can't remember the name, while they stand. That just shows you it's dealing with like the hot, intense flame.
Intense heat, yeah. Thousands of degrees, man. So back in Daniel 2,
because when you even first start, when you think about the dynamics of a missile or a nuclear warhead, just the light of it alone will blind you. Think about it. Then the force of radiation will pull you up. The force of the nuclear weapon. Yeah. And then the we're talking about from its inception, just the light. Light travels faster than sound. So seeing the light of that missile, that warhead, makes it blind. Feeling the force of it, I believe will pull you up.
meat off your bones.
Yeah. Depending on, the whereabouts in the perimeter you are of the blast. And then obviously the blast itself will destroy you, liquefy you. Then an after effect is an EMP, no electricity, and a cold fucking winter. Like it basically sucks all life out of it. And it takes a good while. So that shows you how destructive that thing is, right?
So Daniel 2, so verse 42, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And yeah, there again you have the areas where what the current rulership is strong. You have those where they have a strong economy, they're more developed, but then you have other places like the brother mentioned, Greece, Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Greece, Spain, where their economies ain't as strong. They're basically they're reliant on other other regions around us to kind of keep them in the same realm to where it's the first world.
That's why you have a lot of them of the EU coming over here, especially in the city. A lot of Spanish, French. Not so much German.
No, you get Italian,
No, you get Italian. German. They've got their money right. Where I live, see,
where those like banking districts.
well, I won't explain how, but you know, I come across a lot of Germans, and they're in and out. They literally are arriving here, they're doing a business venture, and they're flying back out.
Germany, residing wise, it could be better than that.
Yeah, the benefit system is well. Unless it changed, but from what I understood it was to get a house, you're on basically like, they had that, you know, where you'd be on like £800 a month benefits. Like years ago, you don't want to be a benefit.
So, verse 43, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with iron and clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Yeah, that not cleaving together is basically they're not seeing themselves as one. They're not just Greeks. They're not just Romans. It's even with those relationships with like I read about Antiochus, it was about them, everyone becoming one people. Even the heathen were partaking, where they were like, oh, we're Greeks. Now you've got the French, the Germans, the Italians, the Spanish, the Portuguese, even in Spain, you have what's it called? The man from Catalan didn't even try to be Spanish. They're trying to be Catalonians to the point of rebellion. You've got the Scottish in the UK. They're trying to not even be part of the UK. They're trying to be, Scottish. Like they're going around letting each other up, man. These men had the fucking automatic guns. Going out and shoot, they'll be like 15. Going out and laying each other up in the streets for fucking decades, man. They were laying up the British Army, man. They were doing a madness over it, man. It was only very, very recently when they kind of brought it to a peaceable conclusion, let's say. But so as far as with mingling together, that's something that in this current time doesn't really exist. And then as well, you have even among Esau, there's not that cleaving together with the other heathen as well. They're basically bringing them over, and then it's what that whole melting pot. Everyone's stepping on each other's toes, waxing poking. It says what? Verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. So that's when we get to the end, man. We get to the final, the kingdom of heaven, which, it's in Israel, right? It's being built presently. You're currently seeing it being formed as is. But then what? It's going to be manifest on the earth. You ready?
Hey.
2:25 said, "But that which ye have already, hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a pot shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father." So yeah, that final kingdom, kingdom of heaven, is basically what we're enduring for, we're working for. Basically receiving the full reward of rule over the heathen. Because that's something that's been promised from the jump, man, from the beginning. So Daniel 2:44, "And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, and it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For so much as thou sawest the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold. The great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass thereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure." Yeah, with basically what? Yeah, the dream broken down, and the key significant part is what? The kingdom of heaven at the end. Because when you have the statues one order, that's what they're all basically this spot, like the brother mentioned. The head of gold was the head of those evil rules, man. And then even until now, this is the final system. Then after that, it's all going to be done away with. Right? It said the whole statue was pounded till there was nothing left, and then the dust of what was left was blown away. Then afterwards, what? The rock that was used to break it down then became a mountain. So we're basically, and in the end, man, it's the same thing being read in 2nd Entrance 9.
They didn't say it became a statue.
Yeah.
So it became a mountain.
Such a nice that was so
When you build a
good.
mountain, you find that things like, Father will be taken away from both these mountains like Mount Ararat, Mount Everest, Kilimanjaro, all these different things. They've been established from the beginning. Heavenly Father established the mountain creek inside the depths of the sea. One video I'll come across where they basically showed, they basically gave, what's the way, they basically showed, when you show something from a picture, this escaping. Like they basically they just showed, like they basically showed how deep the ocean is by going through different various types of infographics to say that it was a video though. They're showing like, hey, yeah, so this is an ocean. It says you go down, a diver can go like a, what they call them? A leisure diver can go to 40 meters below, below the sea level. So that's where they go to. And they show another, they go further and then you go further. It said like sunlight goes to like 1,000 meters below the sea level. So it was just showing how deep the sea goes basically. It's just fucking amazing. So they went down and that was like show the Eiffel Tower, like they showed different levels. So the point being is that depths of the sea. What we want to say? Oh, that's something that's immovable. That's Heavenly Father's snapshot. That's part of the earth. Right? Just like how the children of Israel is going to be a mountain. That's part of the earth. This is the statue that men resurrected and put. They said, boom, this is what's going to be established. No. Because most of these things are going to be taken away. Right? All of these things are going to be taken away. Alright? Like there's wonders, age-old wonders of the world that don't exist. Like there was one in Crete, I forgot what in Greece, where one of their gods was standing up, presiding over the entrance of the Titan or something like that. I think it's I know they had like it was like one of the entrance basically there, and they had me presiding over the entrance. That ain't there no more. Right? Like even with Lady Liberty. She went over that grass and now she's gangrene, man. Like all of these things with the pyramids, they don't look like what they want to look like. They were whited out on the background and they had a great view of the top. Right? So all of these things have been changed over time. They're all going to be wiped away. Right? That's why it says so the dust thereof. Because the dust is there's going to be no remnant. Right? Any form of remnant that does, you know, what's the word? Basically, that does, you know, any reason of trying to bring about something, you know, bring rebirth an old way, it's going to be taken out with quickness. All right? What you got?
That's a Colossus on the road.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's a mess. What the hell, man?
You know it's funny because it's not even funny. Women don't understand. Naturally, as a man, you're drawn to them type of things. When you see a bum, you see a bum. So not even, it's like it's chemical, yeah, it's just like the eye is just drawn to it. It's not even a thing where you like you want to do it. It's just
reason has to overcome it.
That's it.
Which is why it's like
When
it's stupid to even why you looking at that?
that's the way we're hardwired. We can't get around it.
It's like take any teenage boy, then it's don't even matter.
If we don't work like that inside of us, that means we have completely testosterone, chemical imbalances, in prime. And that's how ego works. That's why it's perpetuating the whole kind of mindset. So,
So Matthew 24. So Matthew 24 and 4 said, and Yahweh answered, said unto him, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Yeah, this essentially is everything coming to a conclusion. The conclusion of the matter is essentially what is being played out now. We've been in the process, like we went through the statue. That's the head of gold, the time no one broken down with Nebuchadnezzar. That was at its beginning. Now we're at the tail end. That means everything's coming to a conclusion. And that's the thing that people don't like. That's what people despair about when hearing the prophecies being fulfilled. That's why everyone now, they're caught up in the pride of life. That pride of life is the main thing that people are trying to approach what they're doing now in modern times. It's even less so where historically it might have been about legacy or what's the term? Like not generation, legacy. Yeah, legacy would be the term. You'll be thinking about the generations coming after you, and then you might be doing things in, anticipation of like building something up so that your children can compound on it. So they basically can set themselves up. But now it's what people are trying to basically maximize their insurance, what they can get whilst they're on the planet Earth. So that's why now, hey, it's funny because people say, you're working so that your children can get something better. But now it's like they're saying, oh, you're basically trying to make that happen immediately. But in reality, what that's not even something that's possible. People now become enamored with a utopia, which ironically brings me to a no place. Yeah, a no place, man. They're trying to find a no place. It don't exist. They're trying to make it manifest, but it's not something that's possible to do. Because now it's within Esau's structure. Esau's structure is broken. The whole system as it stands, it's done, it's toast. But then what? It's what's to come. That's where everything will be set right. That says verse 6, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that you do not trouble, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. So it's the same with anything. A good example would be giving birth. You're trying to bring life into the world. That has, the act of making that life is enjoyable. But then afterwards, what? The woman's got, hold in her womb for the 10 months. Then, what? The process of giving birth. The birth pains, contractions, all that. Basically, the pain and blood. To then bring the life forth, man. That's something that, as we are on this side, when we're basically setting up anything you're trying to establish, there's going to be difficulty and struggle in achieving it. That's just how things are now. You need to read this. Mark 2:1, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly withdraw, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. For gold is tried in the fire, and unacceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. Yeah, so essentially when coming to serve the Lord, then it says what? Prepare essentially, prepare for hardship, prepare for people to be adversarial to you, prepare for having troubles to deal with. Because why? When it's an act where when you're coming to do it, you should expect hardship. Because why? It's worthwhile. There's a goal at the end that you strive for. And that's how it is with most things. Anything worth accomplishing, there's going to be hardship associated with it. Yeah. It's like if you're trying to get into shape, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to build muscle, you're trying to master some type of martial art, anything you're trying to accomplish, there's going to be hardship along the way. Even if you're learning some kind of computer programming, you could be trying to master a sport. There's all kinds of different fields. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I said like that girl that was running, because when she was running, I do this sometimes. It ain't even me though. Like it looks like you're laughing, you're not even laughing. Like it's insane. I'm not even laughing. But like as she was running by, you gotta kind of for you to be like overweight or whatever, and want to get rid of your weight. There has to be a thing of like the embarrassment. The humility you have to go through that type of situation. And just confirm it. Just be like, I don't give a fuck. Because I know the final destination. Yeah. So it may look like, right now, I'm overweight, sweaty and running, type of shit. But at the end of the day, you know that you persevere, you're going to get somewhere at the end. And that's really why she can do that. Now there's other people that are like the same term. They will do something like, I'm going to go give them this weight. So they want to look like they're holding their leaning together, they can lay down, but really, if you used to get to, to lose it, it's a real, rough thing you have to, you're going to have to really go for the grind and really get there. You know what I mean? But it's not a thing of like, it's handed to you on a cloud. You got more on what you said?
So Matthew 24:7 it says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. So that's in the midst of it. As this kingdom comes to an end, it's in what they call it the death row. As something dying, its last croak. That's what we're in the midst of. We're basically, as Esau's going down, he's trying to basically establish himself for heaven. But then in doing so, that's going to result in what? In basically fulfilling all these different prophecies, which ends what? The kingdom of heaven being established. But that means what? It's going to be trouble. It's going to be hardship for people on the scene. It's going to be what? That time of trouble, right? That time of Jacob's trouble. But what? The elect, those that aren't appointed to death, that basically is saved down. But then for the people in the midst of it, hey, it's going to be a blender, man.
can't remember the point. Dealing with like money, being rich or being content. And read it, Sirach 39 and 26. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing. All these things are good for the godly. So to the sinners, they are turned into evil. That's it. When you're talking about people like trying to find out, there's got to be something greater to life. So of course, that's what you're speaking to. But they're trying to find something. Oh, utopia. They're trying to find utopia. Yeah, they don't exist. Life's very simple and straightforward. Right? But, as I said, I'll read that last part again, verse 27. All these are good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. Yeah, really the powers of evil are turning real basic, primal things into a form of wickedness. Right? Utopia, like he's selling you. Basically, it's funny because I bumped into, I won't even say it's like it. We always bump into. Yeah, he's not happy about. So yeah, and he was saying like, he said to me, you know what, he said, it's similar with you and Warren Buffett. Like he said like, basically talk about the same thing. Basically that's more or less what you're alluding to. He said like, brother, you got a house, you got clothes, you got money. Like, you got the same thing. But you just want what he got because it's so important, it's premium great. Like there's certain things that are premium. Like I was saying to you before, like dealing with material, like a lot of people think that silk and silk is like a high grade material or like designer brands are high grade material. Some designer brands, yeah, they are high level material if they're manufactured to a higher level. Like if you have like a seam, I was gonna say seamstress, but it's more so seamstress. You have someone that's like works in cloth, makes garments. Yeah. What's the thing called? Guy that does you know what this guy is? Sounds like the most like London man. This thing is still sound like he's actually overexerting the accent. Hey, he made these things like. Anyway, that's a tailor. So if you have a tailor that's like a fine, regarded tailor that basically when they make a garment, that comes back like an ancient role. Like if someone would have made you a garment, your life. That's not a one-time, one and done kind of thing. Like, no, this is your coat. You don't have to buy another coat. It's done. You know what I mean? So if it's that kind of thing, that's what makes it expensive. But now they've made a brand name. It has its brand name on it. This is the mark of, but in reality the brand name is just it's made in China. When they just slap on a sticker, screen print the name or enroll like a logo on it and it's done. It's a done deal. But in reality the manufacturing costs it don't mean nothing. Right? But those are the things they're selling to you to beguile you into, desiring a type of lifestyle. Or you're gonna fly to Dubai. Dubai. You wanna fly to Dubai, but then what are you gonna do in Dubai? You're gonna do all the same shit you do there. It's gonna be in a so-called nicer environment. Or you're gonna go to for example, you might go to a resort. 5-star resort in Spain, for example, let's say Marbella. When you go to a 2-star resort or 3-star resort in Barbados, what's the difference? They're both resorts. They're both the controlled environment with hot weather and just local food. You know what I mean? Like, similar, depending on your experience with the environment, you might not even get the money for it. You might go there and stay here and have the same, are you really experiencing anything? It's just you're gonna tell someone that I've been there, you really didn't go there. Because you just went to the resort, you sat and feet in the pool for about 7 days and then you came back. 2 weeks, however long you went, 10 days. And that's how they, you know, they make you think the stuff is more than what it really is.
That's the essentially the new system that's being promoted. It's basically within that structure. That's where, you know, essentially, you know, happiness and what's the word, content can be found. Because the whole, well, you know what, there's a quote from Mad Men, where in the first season, it was like the final episode, one of the hardest episodes going on. They said, like, the first, what's his name?
I'm living in the summer 27.
Yeah, I know, I was like, bro.
Niggas like, that's like, fucking
It's
5
done.
years ago.
It's like when Don Draper, the main guy from Mad Men, said, you know, when he first learned advertising, the guy who taught him told him like, advertising is about creating an itch and then having your product put in as a soother for the itch. And then that you can really tell that's essentially what it is. When you deal with a majority of products, it's even like an iPhone. There's a Long Beach rookie, he does a skit. Like he did a skit in 2016, 2017, 18 on the iPhone. And then he's been recycling the same video every time there's a new iPhone announced. They're just changing like
What's the skit?
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, what's new in this iPhone? This iPhone has a new camera. No, it has 3 cameras or whatever. And it was just like edit his voiceover over the same thing. Just saying the thing, yeah. So it's like, because why? It's with the iPhone. After a certain point, it was like, it's funny because I think after the 4, after the 5, I can't remember, no, but I can't remember when I think he died. What's the name? Because I think it was after Steve Jobs. It was after either the 4th or the 5th.
It might be the 5th because I'm thinking 4 is my favorite.
Yeah.
Now that's phone. I wish I had it.
It was one of the greatest phones, one of the greatest products that have ever been made on the planet Earth. When it came out, it was one of those legendary. It was so legendary to the point where people had iPhone 7s and 8s and people were still using 4s and 4S. Because it was that clean of a product. But with the iPhone, it's like with the new ones, what do? They say, oh, it's faster. Oh, there's a slightly better camera. Oh, we have this new obscure feature. So you're after the 5. And I think 5, he didn't want the size to go above a certain amount, so you could fit in your pocket. It was with 6. That's when they actually got to go big because he was dead. So they can do whatever the fuck they want. So that's why with what do you call it? It's the same with
I said, look at this.
But then that's why what do you call it? With these products, look into it. It's basically creating, you know, making you feel unfulfilled. It's basically like Instagram, where everyone's putting their best pictures, which is making you feel like you're missing out. That's like these resort. If you see an advert for a resort, you see people having a fucking time of their lives out there, riding horses, going to the beach, got the greatest weather, they got someone sexy on their arm, etc. You be like, damn, I'm gonna get all that when I go there. You go there on your ones, you might even be miserable the whole time you're there, man. So I'm like, wow, this is nice weather. And after a while, you're like, you know what? You still need living the same life.
All your life, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
You buy a designer clothes.
It doesn't do anything. So that's the other thing. It's like with all these things, so there's people where they live, they'll be walking in their slippers to go get a fucking bottle of milk from the corner shop, and they'll be wearing designer.
Yeah.
But then it's like, what does it even mean? That's an arbitrary value that's been put on it by someone else.
As a man I like clothes, I like buying clothes. That's something I like in the world. And that's something that just that's like my personality, that's kind of my spirit. But it's just like, I know one thing I've known for the longest time, you can go to ice cream brands and you can get the same quality, if not better sometimes, some of the stuff in the high-end stores.
Yeah, the old school Primark used to be
That's why
legendary quality.
that's why they watered it down. I mean, for what something like Primark for me was just underwear and t-shirts, vests, boxers, shorts, socks, t-shirts, never go wrong. And then even I can't even like jeans from there when I think about it. They'll be considered premium quality. Because I got some H&M jeans that I bought this in 2017. And I had them in my, I only started wearing them again this winter, 2020, 2022. And I realized I went to the club. And when I was actually feeling them, I'm like, oh shit, this is like premium grade fucking thing. If you go anywhere, most of the shit, you know, they've watered it down. They don't have this made and stretch fabric. Economically friendly, sometimes eco-friendly. So, like I say, as a person, I like, I'm into it. I even like, you know, I have some designer bits, but then some of them, it's just like, bro, this is not it, man. You touch it, you're like, what the fuck is this, man? This is bullshit. Alright? But that's how it goes. And then you might go to a fucking H&M and get some super quality shit like that. How the fuck are they sending this here?
But that's why it's all about perceived value. And that's where essentially power lies with the elites who basically construct the whole thing. They basically say like what iPhone is
the greatest, you know, this what you call that? The what they called not Marco. You know when you use like the symbol of like what's it called though? It's status symbol. You get your Rolex and date, you know.
Oh yeah, that's why it's like the blue bubbles.
Yeah.
That's why they even have it. It's like there's people in some home. It's
That's
like, you got Android, you see the messages.
Yeah.
You got Android, don't message me, you're blocked. Like, and it's just
I'm not gonna lie, it's like a Rolex. I wouldn't mind having a Rolex if I was honest. Because I kind of looked into the horology of it and the technology. It's like intriguing. Like a, you know, they're
studying the Moors?
Nah, don't turn into that. But then, you know, that's it's like a nice car. It's like a Mercedes G-Class or E-Class or something. It's a nice car, nice motor, right? Like, there's some things, you know, but am I going to sell out to get that shit? I don't know. What? If I can drive around, one day it breaks down, or one day I think the Rolex breaks, remember, it's just a fucking watch. What the fuck is that?
That's why it's like with because they can set the value to anything they desire. That's why it's basically then allows them to control your perception of things. That's why it's like people will look like at you have an Android. It's funny because Android was putting out better products than an iPhone for a hot minute.
Yeah.
There was like the iPhone price was getting super inflated. Then it was like, I don't know, there was one, I can't remember if it was X or X, I think it was XS maybe. There was one of them where they actually slightly reduced the price the year after because they were selling less. And then it's like, now over time, and the funny thing is they weren't even getting OLED screens for a bunch of iPhones. And then OLED, Samsung I think was making OLED. So they were getting them on there, so it's like objectively better. But then, again, these things that people don't.
It's like those things. What do they do?
They
if you upload on Snapchat or Instagram, the quality is great because iPhone has a back door. Because I remember I had a Samsung where he like uploading everything. We got no idea, bro. Fair. Yeah, it's every week. We got no idea. Fair, man.
It's not good stuff.
Yeah, like this
one's for fucking.
Yeah, so like they did it so explicitly it makes iPhone look a certain type of way, whereby you know you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta get an iPhone.
Definitely that, but
it basically just lets the way people approach and look at things. They're going for how things are perceived, generally perceived by the public. They'll go with what would be what friends, like I said,
I think it's that one over there.
and then when you and the thing is if that's the mindset you're in, then
But there's only
if
two
that-
boats that I can see
If
of.
that's the mindset that you're in, then you're not even going to be thinking for yourself. It's funny because that's how it interacts with like generational gap as well. With the like since like what was it, Gen X, then the millennials. That's where you kind of have technology coming. So where the way millennials interact with technology compared to Gen X, then Zoomers compared to millennials, that's creating a gap. Because like for me, I'll be like, or even other millennials, they'll kind of be like, oh yeah, you know, social media is no big deal. But then for the generation of grew up with, it's like if they're not doing certain things, yeah. But then what? With the Zoomers, it's generally everyone, because everyone was on the modern forms of social media from young. It's really, I'm saying as a class, like Zoomers, all of them, the way they view it is completely different from those that came before. It's literally do or die. There's certain things where it's like, oh, it's like, no, I can't be good. It's like, there'll be certain kids, it's like, you gotta, oh, you can't have a phone, you can't be on social media. Don't be, you know, don't throw a fit. Because everyone else in the class is on their phone, they're doing whatever. Even those like kids getting bullied, because they didn't have Fortnite skins, man. They're going around with a default Fortnite outfit, bullying them at school. I'm like, this shit's a mess, bro.
That's why it's like
All that shit.
this is the funny thing because I got two of my, you know them as well. Two of like on my socials. I send memes to like two main guys I know who went to primary school and secondary school. I didn't go secondary school, one of them minutes. But I know them from primary school. And the memes are just like we're stuck in a certain generation. Ain't for the weak hearted thing. That's the main point. So all that new age shit, you know, that's the bird for certain people. They ain't really with me. They go on age over. Before I mentioned it, it's like focusing about the kids, that's it. The generation we brought, you used to get like fucked off. You just had to deal with it. You just had to, a man sent for you just had to burn it, man. Or fight. Like or start a fight.
Start right, you have to learn how to send back. Yeah. Really, it's like by the end, it's like everyone will kind of be sending back. So I remember it would be like the West Indians sending for each other.
You had that. I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I always laughed because I think I didn't have that.
That shit was the one, man. And then the Marlies as well.
I was more racial than that. It was more blacks, be whites, be Asians. But I think as well, because I want I can't say I was super after the point. Man would say, look, they're after that. And everyone I know that I grew up with wasn't after that.
Now no one's even really like it. It was just because.
But I know you probably. Yeah. I know it's Peter. So, and the two men on the I'm sure they could tell more than anything. I think I know it'd be them two because they're more tied to that kind of background than it is. Yeah. But I know that like my generation, we grew up together, so it's like no one can say like the bad man in my years were a mixture of that both sides basically. And everyone brings it in. And like the people you're gonna get are gonna be African, or they're gonna be like West Indian, so it's kinda like chocolate cake. I know that's why it's like when I hear I just know it's intentional around it.
Yeah.
But I know them too, I know what they're like.
Yeah.
And where they're family, all the cousins, they're proper from those type of ends. They're from like prominent West Indian groups. their older siblings, older cousins. Let me read this and then read another one. Sirach 29 and 21. The chief thing for life is water and bread and clothing and a house to cover shame. Like, even in this day and age, for a lot of people, they would prefer to fucking live kind of like, to live like the fabulous life. Remember VH1. They want to jump on this plane and go over there, but it said the principal things in life, it said one is a house to cover shame. They ain't even thinking about getting a yard. They're thinking about, no, I want to go there, I want to go there. Yeah, that's not the forefront of the mind. Furthermore, it's a sign that's perpetuated in this world we live in at any point, right? Unless you've got certain people that are out in a certain type of way. Let me read this. This is 1 Timothy 6 and 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. So we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. The only thing we're going to carry out in this world is our reputation. Basically, when we appear before the Heavenly Father, He's going to question us, like, what did you do? Right? And it's really going to be acts that we do. That's why when people say they're dying and things, they think about, did they live a just life? Why are they thinking that? Because somewhere in the depths of their spirit, they know they're about to be judged because they've been judged before. Or even, if it was the first time it was on earth, your spirit would have been told, you're going to go down this, you're going to do, and then you're prepared before me at the end of it. And then you're getting in tune with your spirit. Why? Because you're moving more and more away from the flesh. Because you're about to die. So when you have that inclination, you know, shit, that judgment's coming. And then people start to reflect on the life. In a moment where someone's about to die, the life flashes before their eyes. And they're thinking of everything that they did. Right? So it says, and having food and raiment, let us be there with content. Right? Food and raiment. Right? So food to eat and clothes to cover your body. Right? And also, as it said, a house, somewhere to live. Well, he didn't mention it, but it said the Son of Man said, I have no place to rest his head. You know, foxes have holes, da-da-da-da-da, but the Son of Man has no place to rest his head. So this is what it is. All you're thinking about is food and raiment. All that extra curricular shit, that don't matter. Alright? But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish, hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. Yes, you have a lot of people that become rich, and then what they're doing, they're on social media, getting influencers to come over to Saudi or Dubai, and they put shit on their chest, drop a hot shit on their chest, and tell them to smush their breath together. Like, how did you get there? Like, you got everything in your disposal, and now you want to get the most fire thing on social to come and lay down underneath and squatting over, so you can shit on their chest. Like, this is what happens. I really get it. It says, but they, verse 9, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. So ultimately, if you fall into riches, and riches ain't no £10,000 or man, maybe £100,000 to some people riches, but we're talking about, you know, wealth. It's not going to be gone in the blink of an eye. You know, like real money where you can do shit.
Even for people, they might get like 100K and they start living like that, burn out like a couple of months. Because there'll be people where they'll think, oh, they'll go buy a yacht, go buy a plane or whatever, think like a year, never check the bank account, then be broke in like a year. I was watching like a video on one of the guys from Japan, Bam Magera, it was like he from like the original Jaguars. I mean, he started like a skateboarding company. It was back in like early MTV, where everyone was starting like skate companies and making money. Like making money. He did like the first season of Jaguars. was doing good. I think he had like 50 mil net worth by the end of after like, I think the first Jackpot movie they did. And then it was like he lost all that in maybe less than a decade because he was just using drugs. Like, he was done. So it's like even from
Lifestyle was
it was curse. It was really a curse on.
And even this is like we go through our, mental you might realize you have like a surplus of money or whatever. And then what happens, you can just kind of delve into certain things you have no business in. And what winds up happening, you find out that you have an element from that certain makes you, slothful or whatever. Right, just you kind of know how things, it makes you more nimble, safe. You're more on your toes. You're keeping up with all the things you need to do. So it's all, that's why it's about finding that balance. Right? And the Heavenly Father always in the grind. That's why the prayer was so forth in the book of Proverbs 30, 7. But let me finish on this. So it says, for the love of money is a root of all evil. So the love of money, not having money, but the love of money, right, is a root of all evil. So if you have a love for money, and you have, in this generation of living, most people love money more than anything, right? Because they see it as money is going to grant me access to everything I want to do. But that's just, you're poor, man. Most people that say that shit, you're poor. You're just dirt poor. You don't even realize that money is a tool, man. It's just like a spanner, right? You might have a nail sticking out from that need, something that needs to be nailed in. Only you put that nail in place, all your problems are solved. But now you get given a spanner that you can't, the precision you hit that nail with, you might be able to get away with knocking that nail in place. But ultimately, let me even look at a spanner, a jackhammer. The equivalent of getting like great copious sums of money without having a jackhammer for something where you just need a hammer to lightly tap that nail into place. That's how money is, right? You just need enough to do what you need to do to fulfill the things that are, for your spirit, right? And when I say for your spirit, I'm saying a lot of you through the Heavenly Father purpose as well, right? You just need to leave it nail in place. You think, now if I have a great copious sums of wealth, get a jackhammer, knock that into place. No, you wind up destroying the actual thing everything. The nail don't even need to go in nowhere. Because the nail is going to be destroyed and that object that needs a nail is going to be destroyed as well. Alright? So a lot of people don't understand that shit. And that's really how it is. The Lord is going to give you enough. Many a time I know, even think about it, it's like, man, no. The Lord is a great and terrible power. You never know what's on the cards for you. Right? That's why we fear the Lord, man. No one in terror of the Lord will persuade men. You think we come out here and just done? We're just coming out and we just feel like coming out. Nah, because in the back of our minds, on the forefront of our mind, all in our mind, is that the Heavenly Father of power in the age you can't play with. Right? You might have something to fit in your mind, I'm going to do this. Lo and behold, what happens? The most left field shit happens that just throws you through a loop. You realize, man, this power ain't to be played with. Right? Yeah, that's it. Oh. Let me write this love. I'll read this last verse 11. But thou, O man, O power, flee these things and follow after righteousness. Godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. That's it. That's real wealth. That's what's really going to benefit you. Acts of, great acts of Heavenly Father. So yeah, with that, man. With that, we'll close up. Say all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Barakah. I want to see apostles. Shalom.